of Pitch Practice,
the show.
How are you doing today? Thanks for tuning in. Smash that heart button if you're watching us live. Smash that heart button if you're watching us on the replay. We're coming on a little bit late. We're finishing out the book, The Ultimate Sales Machine. So we got a lot covered today. Shoot, that's backwards. We've got a lot to cover today, Brandon. I'm Mark, the guy behind the Mental Marketer and the private Facebook group, Funnel Building 101. Brandon, I'm going to switch my video around here while you introduce yourself.
Fix your mirroredness there. Brandon here with BKXX Enterprises, helping you get found and taking your funnel to the top of the local market. So a lot of interesting stuff that we cruise through here for the final week of going over the Ultimate Sales Machine. And a lot of the stuff that we read in here, we've kind of lived, in the sense that there's really nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
And everybody has taken what has already been taught and maybe putting their spin on it a little bit, or just reteaching it for what it is. And the last couple chapters in here definitely go into a deep dive of the Dream 100, getting your mindset right, and tracking what needs to be tracked for the ultimate success with the Ultimate Sales Machine.
Yes. It's crazy. I know we keep saying this over and over again, but the more I get into this book, the better it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because it's stuff that we've probably heard before, because as we were going through one of the chapters. I'm going to give an overall synopsis of the last 4 chapters in the book that we've gone over, so you guys that are watching and listening out there can kind of follow along with us. But we've heard this taught before by people that are out there marketing today, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, especially when it comes to the Dream 100 and the things that you should be doing to get their attention and stay in front of them as much as possible when it comes to sending small gifts, taking them out for lunch, breakfast, or dinner. Dinner is by far the best. There's something about coming together over dinner than any other meal that really solidifies bonds and relationships. Maybe it's because it's the end of the day. The work stress is done. They don't really have to think about it anymore. They can go out and let their hair down and unbutton that top button of the shirt or whatever, and relax, have a drink or two, and just continue to build relationships. That's what the Ultimate Sales Machine is ultimately about, is figuring out how to build that relationship with the interested party, making them even more interested, and getting them to sign on that dotted line.
Yes. Oh, I like how you made that interesting note there, that dinner is the most effective when it comes to building the deeper relationships of all the meals: breakfast, lunch, dinner. I find that true. But let's size these last chapters here. Chapter 8 was The Eyes Have It, and what the focus in this chapter was about the eyes have it. And in it, he talked about 85% of the information that's taken into our brains enters through our eyes. And he talks about sales in a way that's important for you to make your presentations, I think in today's world, it's your graphics, your images, attractive to eye. There's someone that I listened to one of his trainings. He's actually a 2 Karma Club award winner, and he talked about giving people eye candy. And if you want to know who that person is, maybe you've heard of him, Brandon. He is actually the photography guy. His name is Tim Shields. Does
Mm-hmm.
that name sound familiar? Yeah.
Yeah, he did a
He got on
webinar at the
stage
edge
at
of.
one of
Yeah, he did a webinar at the edge of the Grand Canyon. So he knows a thing or two about one, the dramatic demonstration, and two, giving somebody something that they've never seen before that just keeps them hooked. Because of, I mean, who wouldn't want to watch a webinar of somebody standing at the edge of a big hole? Maybe he'll fall in. That's the that's the
a big hole.
that's the dramatic effect of it, and you got the sun setting behind you depending on the time of day that the webinar started, and all that other kind of stuff just brings in those visuals that people that they like to see. I mean, the eyes are the windows to the world and our internal soul. So without them, it's tough to sell to somebody that can't see or visualize the final outcome. Now, I don't want to step on anybody's toes here. If you have poor eyesight or no eyesight, there's definitely other senses available that can compensate and help you out, because the number two thing is listening.
Yeah.
So the eyes see it, the ears hear it, and then if you can touch, taste, or smell it, then that's just what's going to, solidify the deal.
Oh, yes, yes. I always talk about in one of my my challenge days, I talk about the modes of communication that we have. And because there's so many people out there that want to be online, that want to come out here and do what we're doing, Brandon. But what holds them back is either their fear, and they want to hide behind these no face videos. You know how that becomes popular with people. They don't want to put themselves personally out there to start this online business. They think that all I have to do is set up this no face YouTube channel, create videos, and watch the money roll in.
Yeah, you can do it. People are doing it, but you have to do a lot. I think you would have to do more of the no face than you would have to do of a face video, simply because people want to connect with people. And sure, you can put up, a reel on the 10 best places in Italy to visit. You can get the script written in GPT, hook it up to CapCut, and it'll throw something together, right? But still, there's no emotion behind it. There's no sense of self behind it, that you've actually went to those places and can give your personal experience that will connect to someone who's longing to go. And once they get there, they realize, I was here because of this person. And I think be able to thank them for that initial experience to lead to my ultimate experience. And it's funny that you mentioned that, certain people can't get out of their own way to do it. A couple weeks ago, when I went on my trip, I met up with a buddy of mine before the Monday before Funnel Hacking Live. And he was like, yeah, I've been kind of watching you and super jealous of what you're doing. There's no way that I could do it because I'm such a corporate shill.
Really?
So yeah, so it's like that really hit the heart there. I mean, he's a good friend. It's kind of one of those guys that you might not talk to all the time, but when you do, it's like catching up, like you've never missed a beat. So those are the real friends and good friends to have. Yeah.
Wow,
So
wow. Is that interesting that because I think I said it. It's like it holds a lot of people back. It holds a lot of people back, and sometimes they won't say it to you, or they'll watch you from a distance, right? Or I won't even say from a distance, because they're actually watching a lot closer than we know. People are watching.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait a
They
minute.
are. Yeah, they are. They're definitely watching. So don't think that your stuff is going unnoticed. If you're not getting the likes and the comments and things like that, I mean, those are just vanity metrics. What matters is, what happens in the checking account, right? When you do put that pitch out there, and kind of getting into that, talks about presenting and the two rules, actually three rules, for presenting, and the first one's my favorite. Is the KISS rule, which is keep it simple, stupid.
I've heard Grant say that before.
And rule two is keep it fast paced, and rule three is wow them with facts and statistics, because facts sell. If they're because people want to follow the herd, right? They don't want to be left out, and they want to know that other people have been successful with it before they take the risk. We're genetically coded to be risk averse for the most part, because risk is dangerous, and dangerous could lead to loss of life, health, death, or money. And we wouldn't be here today at the 8 billion strong that we are if we didn't have that fear factor and risk aversion built into us. Now, we wouldn't be where we are either without those that don't have that big of a risk tolerance to put us in the positions that we are in today, such as, the Bezos and the Musks and
Russell Brunson.
the Brunsons and George Washington and all those crazy guys that told the king to, piss off and all that kind of stuff. So those people were big risk takers, right? They could have been hanged. So, but majority of people, the 99% of us out there, we are pretty risk averse. But if we can get into that 1% and take the risk, buy the thing, quit the job, we could definitely get something.
Definitely. Just to end on that, I love it how he says that when you choose those wow facts, even those fear-inducing facts, they can turn everyone who hears your presentation into a mini salesperson for you. People love if they find out an interesting statistic that, did you know, they love repeating that, or they love to give them credit for knowing this. And if you're the one to provide it to them, they become a mini salesperson for you and your products. So go out there in your presentations and use these three rules for effective presentations: keeping it simple, keeping it fast paced, and using some wow facts and strategies. Yes, I'm telling you, this book is good, Brandon. This book is really good. It's a book that I think it's probably on most people's bookshelves. I was like, wow.
It needs to be. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter what position you are in life, whether you're a barista slinging coffee at Starbucks, or you're running a multi-million-dollar fund or business. This book has to be one of the ones that's on the bookshelf that you're reading, and teaching, depending on how high up the corporate ladder you are. Oh, sorry. If you're at the upper echelon, you should be teaching and disseminating this information down through the ranks so they know and understand the philosophy behind your business. And then if you're at the lower level, you should be learning it and trying to push it up through the ranks to make the business better from the bottom up to get your future promotions. So, knowledge is power, and this is probably one of the most powerful books that I've read.
I agree. And to end off that chapter with the eyes have it, it just reiterates the importance of what we see visually and how what we see impacts our communication in a way like, that only the written word doesn't, or in ways that the The audio doesn't. 80%. And look, it's funny because he actually followed his own philosophy about giving a wild statistic, showing that 85% of of what we take in is taken. And I just want to point out, he also pointed out 8 common presenting. I'm gonna relay, and those are thanking prospects for their time. You don't want to thank them for their time. Why don't you want to thank them for their time, Brandon?
Just lowers your status.
Yes. Presenting with your hands in your pocket. Not so much maybe online, but you don't do that. Presenting from a sitting position. I'm sitting down, but we're not really presenting. We're talking. Being led around by your nose. 5, letting the material upstage you. Or 6, keeping it too serious. 7, failing to practice your presentation. In other words, not being prepared. Or 8, having no idea what is coming next in your presentation. And I like to add a 9th one to that, because I love being able to present in front of people, and I see just people getting up there and not making use of their hands, Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you watch great speakers that go on stage, over this past year, we read $1 Million Speaker. And in that book, she talked about the use of hands in our communication. I got your eyes going around like this, Brandon.
Yeah. The hands, the hands definitely draw attention and can emphasize key points to any speech. And again, being that we are mostly visual, having that visual reference to what your hands are doing when you actually hear the audio, it makes it stick better. So moving on to 9, getting to the nitty gritty. And I think this chapter should have been maybe number 1, because the thing that most people want is how to get to their buyers, right? So, how to get to the buyers first and then figure out how to sell them later. Maybe should be the path of the book. But no, this goes over the Dream 100.
Yeah.
And this was the core concept that I think we were both exposed to in the One Funnel Away Challenge, which is coming back. I'm thankful for that. And this goes through.
Hey, you're releasing information that not everybody knows, Brandon.
Oh, sorry. Cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, so I mean, so it's going over the Dream 100 method and how to get in front of them, sending them gifts, writing letters, make a calendar so you can do the follow-up properly, and then being able to present. So, this was taught time and time again. And, if you have the 100 people that you want, like your 100 whales, and if the thing is 1% of people are ready to buy now, if you get one of those whales, that's kind of your main account. I mean, you don't want that to be your only main account, but, you got to start somewhere and get them going there. So we won't dive too much into that when it comes to the Dream 100. But I mean, that is the number one tactic to kind of get your business up and running is to get at least one of those logos, so to speak, under your belt that just tells everybody else, hey, this guy is doing it, and he's pretty, upper echelon, and people kind of follow him around type deal. So that would be good to follow in his footsteps to work with this person. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So I just want to mention one of my biggest takeaways from this chapter 9, which was getting into the nitty gritty, which he calls the step-by-step, day-by-day tactics to land your ideal clients. And that's when he laid out the 6 steps for getting down to the nitty gritty. One of these steps that really stood out to me was step number 2. It was choose your gifts. And I'm going to read a little bit of what he says in his book and how he used these gifts choose the gifts. What he means is that he found that one of the best ways to get noticed by Dream 100 is to send them small gifts every 2 weeks. Choose gifts like he gives an example of the Rubik's Cube. It's just an inexpensive plastic puzzle slightly bigger than a cube of sugar. And he said you want to consider a lot of different gifts for this, but the one thing you want to do is keep it inexpensive. And I love how he said this is the one time that cheap is better. It's like,
Yeah, I mean,
it's like getting little knickknacks, right?
Yeah, I mean, expensive gifts. I like where he's kind of going with that. Just make people feel a little bit uncomfortable, like they owe you something after the fact, and I mean that can turn a relationship off because not many people like to be in debt, so to speak, or be indebted, and depending on their language, the language they speak. I mean, gifts might not be it. You know what I mean? You have words of affirmation, you have physical touch, you have gifts, you have I forget the other deals there, but I mean it all ties into the 7 love language. There's 7 love languages. There's that book, and then there's another one that is more like corporate deal, separate 7 language of communication or whatever. But yeah, gifts are good. But again, figure out who your buyer is, and if gifts don't make sense, don't send gifts. Send them an email or a thank you card or some type of appreciation card with words on it instead of a physical item. So, 10 sales skills. Oh, this is fun. This is the fun chapter because this chapter laid out the blueprint of effective sales presentation and how to go about wooing the client. And obviously the first thing to do is build rapport, right? You have to get on the same page, same level of the buyer, and kind of get in with them and buddy up to them.
Yeah. The deeper you go, the more you will sell.
Absolutely. Then it comes to the qualification. I mean, you can be best friends with the best people, but if they're not qualified to buy your stuff, don't waste your time with them. So get through those qualifications, questions quickly by asking the appropriate who, what, why, how questions. Figure out the pain points, and if they're not qualified, move on quickly. There's too many fish in the sea and not enough time to catch them all, right? And then
it's funny you say move on quickly because that leads right into the next chapter, which is the follow-up.
And then step 3 is build the value. Once you have everything.
Chapter 10 was pretty cool. Follow-up.
Yeah.
He gave when and how to follow up.
I did like the follow-up deal. In fact, that's the one I'm going to be studying the most here coming up soon. Just what I'm doing for the day gig and how I'm helping companies market and create their own products. But the third step was build value. 4th is create the desire. They absolutely have to have this product, and your product is the only solution. And then step 6 was just close the sale. Ask for the sale. That's the step that most salespeople fail at, is just simply asking for the business because they're scared to ask. It's like, do you want to do business today? It could be that simple. Like, do you want to move forward? Are you ready to go? If not, what's stopping you from doing it? Then follow up.
I had a good friend tell me at once, and they come and buy from me all the time, and they said to me, of course you have to follow up. You have to follow up. I mean, I have to be followed up on even. Hey, follow up with me. I forget things happen, but I still have every intention of buying. Some people are afraid, I think, of coming off as annoying. You know what? If you don't, what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? you're going to watch as that person goes and buys the same thing that you're offering from someone else.
Yep. Because
Why?
they hit them at
Because
that
you
right
didn't
time.
follow up.
Yep. Somebody's going to hit them
Yeah.
at that right time that they've been thinking about it after you've already did your presentation and things like that. And they're going to get hit with it again. And they're just going to go do it. I mean, think about it. So like yourself, you're interested in some type of product, right? You went there, you saw the product, you got the product demoed to you, you said you wanted to think about it, and then you start seeing it everywhere. It's like, oh, I got to have this product now. And then you just end up going to the same, or not, I wouldn't say same store, but maybe a different store, different car lot, whatever, and just ready to buy, right? And you do it right then and there. And then the guy calls you a week later. It's like, hey, you ready to? It's like, yeah, I just got one. And the guy's feeling like the worst ever. Like he just wants to bury himself 6 feet under. And it's probably because he didn't follow up properly and do the thing. So I mean, no deal is lost by money. Price is never a factor. It's either in the overall interaction and then the post interaction, after the presentation. So follow up. That's the money. That's where the money is. Why do you think we always talk about email and getting people on a list, right? Because the money is in the list, and if you don't hit the list, you don't make any money.
Yeah, and you've got a great email course out there right now following up too. I see you out there racking up those dollar signs, those ching 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 ching. But not only that, but you're helping people start their email list too, though.
Yeah. So I got a checklist going out there. I ran, a couple dollars in ads to it, got a couple opt-ins with it, and now they're on my list. They're going to go through a 5 email sequence there that's going to push some of the concepts of the list itself, and then try to upsell to the course. Probably need to do a little bit better job of that. But as far as like the emails go, to kind of sell the course more. But ultimately, I want to work with them one-on-one. Like info products are great, but it's the one-on-one time that I'm really, really looking for. So, all right, Mark, let's bring us home. Last chapter.
Yeah.
What do we got for the last chapter?
All systems go. And this chapter just really wrapped everything up because we started off it's a 12-step formula. That's the whole idea of the book, is turbocharging your business with relentless focus on these 12 key strategies. This brought it all together because this was the part about the mindset, bringing it all together. This is an important part, that if you have all these tools, if you have all these strategies, these tools, these tactics, none of it works if you don't have the right mindset. If you don't go out there and you're not the right person, then none of this will work. It would be like giving a hammer and a nail to a 3-year-old. They've got the tools, but they don't have the mindset and the belief. And he talks about, first of all, what we think defines who we are. And he talks about what we focus on. And he talks about how it works, harnessing those powers of goal setting. And if you don't have this book, you're missing out on things like this. Full charts that you can use to track your goals and see that you're making progress. Book closed. Go get it.
That's it, man. Yep. And the mindset deal is all principles that are coming from, over 100 years ago with Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and all those philosophies there. It's great stuff. Like I said, like we said in the beginning of the call, there's nothing new under the sun. Somebody's taking these concepts and just kind of reteaching them and putting their spin on it, which is perfectly fine and legal to do. So think about that. Anytime that you pick up a book, anytime that you are, taking a course, is like, figure out where did they get this information from, and just go down the rabbit hole. And then that's how you learn how to do the same thing. And I know everybody hates the gurus and the grifters, so to speak, when it comes to it, but information is power, and people with the information are the ones that make the money. So, Just think about it. Don't hate the player. Just hate the game a little bit.
But don't hate the game. Learn the rules, play by the rules, and go out there and have fun. I know we have like less than a minute left. Really, we should already be gone, but yeah,
that's what we're doing next. Yeah. That's what we're starting next week.
Yes. As we wrap up the Ultimate Sales Machine, we are getting into our next book. I want to recommend to those out there that maybe you got this book at Funnel Hacking Live, maybe you haven't gotten this book, but I took some time to actually listen to it on audio this weekend, and there are full interviews on the audio that are not available in the book, and they are good. They are gold, and it's interviews with Dan Sullivan, because I think most of the book was written by Benjamin Hardy, but Dan Sullivan has been the consultant in the background. So I don't think any of the words are much with Dan Sullivan, but on the audio, you get to hear him with his years of wisdom. And I'm talking like thousands of business owners and entrepreneurs that he's grown their business to millions. So this is our book. We're getting into this, man. We're going to be starting next week. We'll see when we have our partner back, but hope you guys are out there. Just check around this video for any links to get connected with us, okay? You want to let us out of here, Brandon?
Sounds good, guys. Just get out there, close the deal, and that's it, because the world can't turn without closed deals. So get out there and keep the world turning.
That's it. See you next week. Take family.
See you later.